Learning OP off-meta champions is an amazing strategy to climb the ladder very quickly. If your opponent has no clue how your champion functions or is very unfamiliar with the matchup, you'll find yourself coming out on top more often than not. That's why in today's video, we are excited to share with you all 10 of the most broken off-meta champions that you can abuse for free low in patch 11.6. If there's any other off-meta picks you think are flying under the radar, we'd love to hear about them down in the comments below. To stay up to date with all the best new trends for each and every patch, don't forget to smash that subscribe button and turn on notifications to get ahead of everyone else. With that said, let's jump into it. We've come to know the Green Blob as a jungler over the years, but his best role for 11.6 is actually top lane. Zac Top with Chemtank Rush is a pick many Korean high elo top laners are seeing lots of success with. Zac is winning a ton into meta picks like Malphite, Camille, and Renekton. He's especially strong as a counter to that Malphite pick, as Mal struggles more against AP champions. Malphite hates building magic resist as his abilities scale off of armor, so the Zac pick just innately renders Malphite weaker. Zac also loves building Spirit Visage, which he has the luxury to do in the Malphite matchup to nullify so much of his damage. The max health damage from Zac W gives him really great strength against tanks or HP stacking bruisers, so you'll want to max this ability out first. Follow with E second and Q last. For summoner spells, Flash and Teleport is the most standard, but if you want to cheese out some early kills, Ignite with Teleport can work really well too. Conqueror combined with passive blob healing allows Zac to sustain so well in duels. For secondary runes, you want to run Second Wind and Revitalize to amp that healing even further. The complete build consists of a Chemtank Rush and Spirit Visage second, and then Thornmail or Randuin's third, depending on which gives you more value for each game. Another sleeper OP unconventional top lane pick that we have to mention is Sejuani. Just recently in 11.5, Sejuani W2 got a nice boost, going from 5.25 up to 6% max HP damage. With W on a 9-second cooldown at rank 1, scaling down to 5 when maxed out, it gives Sej really nice consistent poke power in the laning phase. Sejuani's trading strength is surprisingly strong, as her full combo can easily chunk half the HP off your opponent. Sejuani's meta matchup are really solid too, as she wins against Malphite, Aurelia, Renekton, and Camille. All the CC Sejuani provides makes her gank assist extremely strong and allows you to set up really free kills. Like the Zac pick, many players have lots of success running Ignite with Teleport on Sej. Since so many players will be oblivious to the damage output from Sej early on, you can cheese out a ton of kills by running this Ignite. The optimal ability maxing is W first, Q second, and then E last. Run with Frostfire Gauntlet as your mythic item, transition into Thornmail second, and then Warmog's third. Stacking health is great on Sej since the damage from her W scales with HP. Grasp is Sejuani's best keystone, paired with Inspiration Secondary, running Biscuits and Time Warp Tonic. For a couple jungle picks now, Burst Kindred has been seeing play over in Korea and is very undervalued for 11.6. The build revolves around rushing a Gale Force into Essence Reaver, which packs a massive punch on completion. The 1v1 power you have with this setup is really nice, as Gale Force allows you to outplay extremely hard. Kindred's been a great counter to picks like Olaf and Kayn due to the mobility from Q, and this setup allows them to kite those champions even easier. Due to the low cooldown on Kindred Q, they get so much value out of the Essence Reaver Spellblade proc. With Blade of the Ruined King slightly nerfed for 11.6, it makes ER an even more optimal second item pickup. Third item will be Rapid Fire Cannon, and on completion, your one-shot range and damage is just so nutty. You dash in with Gale Force, proc the energized damage from Fire Cannon along with Spellblade from ER to melt the enemy squishy's HP bar before they can even realize what hit them. The rune page will be Conqueror with Domination Secondary, running Sudden Impact and Relentless Hunter. Coming off 3 different buffs in the past couple of patches, the Troll King is one of the most underrated junglers of the patch. Not only those buffs, but the way the meta has been shifting as of recent is really great for Trundle. With full tank Hecarim seeing more play, along with other beefy picks like Udyr and Mundo, Trundle does a superb job at shutting them down in fights. Trundle's ultimate steals the percent of the enemy's resist, so in games where there's a Malphite and Hecarim on the same team, you're getting so much value out of the Trundle pick. Seeing that Stride Breaker has been nerfed for 11.6, this indirectly weakens Bruiser picks and makes champs like Malphite even better. As a result, we should be seeing more tanks played up in the top lane, which benefits Trundle greatly. Trundle's Q cooldown buff from 11.5 has put the spell on a 3.5 seconds cooldown, so the consistent dueling power he offers early game is nothing to scoff at. The full build is a Frostfire Gauntlet into Deadman's Plate, and then Spirit Visage. Phase Rush is really broken on Trundle when against comps with heavier CC, whereas Press the Attack is great when you don't need the added mobility. Bruiser picks in the mid lane are extremely sleeper OP and especially great into assassin or fighter picks. Aatrox is much more commonly seen up in the top lane, but arguably better suited for the mid lane in 11.6. Aatrox absolutely dumps on meta mids like Yone, Yasuo, Sylas, and Kassadin, so he can be of such great use for many of your games. The consistent damage Aatrox can output renders it impossible for any assassins to trade back against, and the mobility he's got makes it even more difficult for them to survive. The dash from Aatrox E allows him to easily sidestep skill shots, and since the majority of mid laners are so reliant on landing spells, this gives him another layer of counterplay. Take Yone for example, who's the most played mid laner on the patch. If you can dodge out on his Q knockup, then his trade power drops off significantly. As Yone has his Q charged and is posturing to go in, dodge to the side with E and then beat him up in the trade after he misses the Q. The rush item on Aatrox mid is a stride breaker, and on completion, the sticking power and 1v1 potential just goes through the roof. The slow and dash from stride breaker makes it so simple to land every Q on your target and helps to maximize damage. Go into Black Cleaver second and then Sterix or Ravenous Hydra third. Take Conqueror for the Keystone with Resolve secondary, opting for Bone Plating and Revitalize. One of the most forgotten mid laners in the game is looking so much stronger at the moment with Everfrost. Aurelion Sol is the pick we're referring to, as his strength with the new build of Everfrost and Rylai's is something that can't be understated. Hextech GLP was such a staple on Sol back in the day, and even though Everfrost isn't exactly the same, it really emulates what GLP had to offer. The kiting power of this build gives Aurelion so much power for the mid game, and the potential to chain CC lockdown is also really crazy. An Aurelion Sol Q followed up with the guaranteed root from Everfrost locks the enemy down for such a long duration, which gives the champion amazing pick potential. And then for good measure, the slow from Rylai's gives opponents no way to escape even if they do manage to survive through the CC chain. With this setup, it makes Sol a much better pick into many meta champions that want to dive right on you. The complete build is Everfrost Rush, Rylai's second, and Zhonya's third. Electrocute and Phase Rush work well for Aurelion's Keystone, so it all comes down to which you think is best for the game. If you're more confident and are in a matchup where you have kill threat early on, side with Electro. In ranged matchups or against heavy dive comps where the kiting power from Phase Rush will come into play, look to try it out too. Fresh off some buffs from 11.5, and a great answer to the tank meta that's been emerging is Kog'Maw. We featured Kog in our recent Korean builds video, as the setup with Gale Force combined with the buff leaves him very underappreciated. Kog is a great answer to the Kai'Sa pick, who's the most played ADC on 11.6, and he's also seeing tons of success in the Samira and Ezreal, who are played at very high rates. Since Kai'Sa lacks any consistent long-range damage, Kog W can work so well to bully her out of lane. There's way more Enchanter supports in the meta right now too, with Lulu, Yuumi, Seraphine, Morgana, and Karma all in the top 10 for play rates. We all know how broken a good Kog Lulu can be, so with Lulu as the second most played support, it gives Kog'Maw way more viability. As tankier picks like Hecarim and Udyr have been running away with the jungle meta, the percent HP shred from Kog'Maw's kit allows him to thrive even more. Gale Force Rush will really help out with Kog'Maw's main weakness of lacking a gap closer and give him much more carry strength into teamfights. Transition into Rageblade second and then Hurricane third. Roll with Lethal Tempo as the keystone combined with Inspiration secondary running Freeboots and Biscuits. An absolute gem of a pick we really don't see enough of as a bot lane carry is Veigar. Bot lane Veigar is in a crazy strong state at the moment ever since the emergence of his new build consisting of Everfrost into Cosmic Drive. On this 2-item spike, you're getting a mass amount of haste and health combined with a really nice disruption from the Everfrost active. Since Veigar is a shorter ranged mage and needs to get relatively close to deal his damage, you'll get amazing use out of Everfrost active and won't get blown up instantly due to the 450 bonus HP the build provides. Veigar tends to struggle way more as a mid laner since his early laning holds him back from getting any sort of prio, while his skirmish is lackluster pre-6 as well. On the flip side, with bot lane Veigar, many traditional ADCs are pretty weak early on, so you can match them quite well in lane and farm up towards your mid-game spike way more freely. Before you start abusing Veigar bot, make sure you're going into games with the correct ability maxing. So many new Veigar players mistakenly max W out second instead of E. It's so important to max Q first into E second, so that on your mid-game spike, E drops to a 12 seconds base cooldown lowered to 6 seconds with all the haste you'll have. E max second is so much more valuable than W since the zone power it provides on this low of a cooldown is massive for teamfights. Full build for the purple Yordle consists of Everfrost and a Cosmic Drive, and then Zhonya's or Rabadon slot in nicely third. Electrocute adds a nice layer of burst combined with Inspiration secondary, taking Freeboots and Futures Market. The most OP off-meta support for patch 11.6 is Talia. Reason being is that Everfrost Rush has proven to be so potent on the pick. Once you complete Everfrost, if a W lands, it's a guaranteed kill every single time. You shove the enemy back into you with W, activate the Everfrost root, and the opponent will be locked down for plenty of time for you to finish off the kill. Talia support is even more disgusting if you can pair her up with a Tristana, Jinx, Jhin, or Caitlyn. All these champs are meta right now and synergize so well with Talia due to their ability to aggressively follow up on a seismic shove. The consistent poke potential from Talia Q provides really great zone in lane and allows you to chunk the enemy laners out really easily. Do your best to get early brush control, look for those W plays when the enemy ADC goes for last hits, and your elo will skyrocket with Talia support. The core build is Everfrost into Zhonya's and an Oblivion Orb if the enemy comp has lots of healing. Run Dark Harvest for the Keystone paired with Sorcery Secondary, grabbing Mana Flow Band and Water Walking. Tank Senna has slowly been picking up some steam over the past patch as Korean pros like Damwon Gaming's Beryl have been exploiting it. The build is a Frostfire Gauntlet rush into a Rage Blade second. The reason this setup can work so well is that the Snowbind passive from Gauntlet synergizes with Senna's Q. Since Senna's Q procs on hit effects, the slow from Snowbind is applied and gives her some great added utility. The setup allows you to play way more aggressive as well due to the resists and health Frostfire offers. You can often bait the enemy to overcommit since they're so used to Senna being a squishy support. As they dive in, you soak all the damage, kite away with the slow from Frostfire, and make the enemy regret not checking which item was in your inventory. It's not just the build though that's so unique, you're going full out tank by running Grasp as the keystone. Thanks to Senna's Q proccing Grasp, it offers a lot of value and you'll be able to get a ton of stacks throughout the laning phase. Senna's trading power is just so much greater with Grasp compared to Glacial Augment, as the bonus damage and heal from Grasp gives Senna's laning a really nice boost. Grab Presence of Mind and Alacrity from the Precision Tree for secondary runes. There you have it, guys, 10 of the best off-meta champs to abuse for patch 11.6, so you can ride along with an edge up on your opponents. If you enjoy this kind of content, then be sure to let us know by smashing that subscribe button and turning on notifications so you can be the first to learn of these new picks. And if you want to improve fast and get the rank you've always wanted, then check out our hyper improvement system at SkillCapped.com. We have professional courses by the top players, and we upload tons of new guides to our site each week. If you don't climb at least 5 divisions while actively using SkillCapped, then you can claim a full refund, so there's no risk. So check out SkillCapped.com and get the rank you've always wanted. Link in the description below. Until next time, good luck in solo queue, and we will catch you back soon.